DVD.
Hey Camera Aggies, I'm Ashley Matthews and you're watching Film Geek. It has officially been announced that Toy Story 4, yes 4, will be in the works and set to come to theaters 2.5 years from now. Yes, a long way away with a date of June 16th, 2017. Woody and Buzz will be back with Tim Allen and Tom Hanks voicing. The director of the first 2 Toy Story films, John Lasseter, will be directing. Lasseter said he and a few others came up with this idea and he could not stop thinking about it. It was so exciting to him and he knew he had to make this movie. It is unclear at this point what this Toy Story will be focusing on. After all, we're not even sure if Bonnie will be back, but there is a good chance some characters that have a chance to show up could be the Avengers, Iron Man, Thor, the Hulk, Captain America, and Spider-Man. After all, Disney owns Marvel and the animation rights to the Spider-Man character too. It has been announced that J.J. Abrams has released the official title on his Star Wars sequel. The title is Star Wars: The Force Awakens. So, with that, there has been a huge debate regarding whether this subtitle is lame or awesome, considering we have not seen any footage at all. The Force has been around in the Star Wars universe for a long time. The Force Awakens has been given a release date of December 18, 2015. There is some talk about when the trailer will be released, or at least a sneak peek. Some fans, however, are guessing December 18th, marking the 1 year before the movie opens, while some are saying Super Bowl. A recent crossover was done with The Family Guy and Simpsons, where the Griffins are greeted warmly by the Simpsons and invited into their home. There has been a battle over the better show for a while now, so of course, there will be some fighting. They focus majority on Homer and Peter, and then Bart and Stewie. There is a cameo from Bob's Burgers and Cleveland. Homer and Peter started off just fine until there was an issue with Peter working in the plant that was putting different labels on the Duff beer bottles. That is manufactured in Springfield plant that Homer is associated with. Basically poking fun at the fact that Simpsons was the original and that the Family Guy was just trying to be like them. And Bart was just annoyed at Stewie. Let's talk about the new release I caught this weekend. Interstellar, which is an adventurous sci-fi movie. This movie stars Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, and Jessica Chastain, and is directed by Christopher Nolan. The film is about a team who travel into space and wind up through a wormhole while in search for a new planet on lot to live on. Let's take a look at the trailer.
We used to look up in the sky and wonder at our place in the stars. Now we just look down and worry about our place in the dirt.
Go for main engine start, T-minus 10.
We must confront the reality that nothing in our solar system can help us.
9.
I've got kids, Professor. How long would I be gone?
8.
I'm asking you to trust me.
7.
Murph. You have to talk to me, Murph.
6.
I need to fix this before I go.
You have no idea when you're coming back.
5. Main engine start.
Couldn't you have told her you were going to save the world?
No.
4.
When you become a parent,
3.
one thing becomes really clear.
2.
And that's that you want to make sure your children feel safe.
1.
I'm coming back.
When?
I love you forever.
Potentially habitable worlds right within our reach.
Could save us from extinction.
Here we go.
You can't just think about your family. Now you have to think bigger than that.
I am thinking about my family and millions of other families.
Maybe we've spent too long trying to figure all this out with theory. Love is the one thing that transcends time and space.
Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light.
I'm ready to make it.
Yes, you are.
We'll find a way. We always have.
This week I'm joined with Haley Sunford. She's a sophomore and the co-host of Game Time. Welcome, Haley. Thanks for joining me.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So we saw Interstellar. What did you think about hearing Murph have like such a strong hatred for her dad leaving and her not liking that? And then we find out that she goes in the same field that he was. I think if I hated a family member that much and they were leaving me, like a mom or a dad, heck, I'd be a teacher or something if they were studying science. What did you think of that?
Yeah, it made you like emotional, like it connected with you, and then it confused you at the end because you're like so like, oh my gosh, she hates him, but then you were like, but she did it. So it left you questioning, why did she do it?
Well, I think because in the middle of the movie we find out when she's there, and she gets the item off the bookshelf, she then realizes what the ghost was really about. So I think she learned early on in her 30s what really happened, and then she didn't have a hatred for her dad anymore. But I think up until that point, she hated him. So I just, and she was already working at the station with Dr. Brand. So I don't know, I just don't think that that's what I would choose if I was doing that. But maybe she did to try and get her dad to get home sooner.
Yeah,
so
she hated him, but then she seemed really bitter at that one part when she found out.
Mm-hmm.
She was just so bitter about it. And so I was confused because she hated him and she was bitter.
Mm-hmm.
But then she did it and she was happy with it.
I felt like the music was way overpowering. There was times where you could not even hear what the actors or actresses were even saying because the music was so loud. And it was playing all the time. Like, there was constant music, I felt, and it was just like music that didn't even match the scene. Did you feel the same way? Or
I felt like sometimes there was music and it was overpowering, and I would look over and I was like, what did they say?
Yeah.
But then I was like, do you notice the music? Like, what are they trying to convey right now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is the mood? But I feel like they should be able to convey the mood without actually having the music so loud.
Right. Yeah, that was definitely a big part. And I don't know if that had anything to do with the fact that it was shot on the 35 millimeter. Like, I don't know if that plays a part in it or not, but I know that, certain theaters couldn't show this movie. I watched a review earlier where a guy had to drive over 100 miles to get to one because it was 35 millimeter and because the theater closest to him didn't even have it. So, I don't think the movie was too long, but I felt like every scene had a justified story to blend with it. How'd you feel about that?
Yeah, I didn't know exactly what they could have cut out. I mean, it was 2 hours and like
49 minutes.
49 minutes. So it was a long movie, but there was never really a part where I was just like, this is just dragging on and on and on. It kept my attention the whole time. And, I've got those times where I was just sitting in the chair and I was like, okay, I have to sit back, I have to relax, I have to, this is just a movie, but I was so into it.
Yeah, it was really intense. It kept you on edge. You wanted to know what was going to happen and that brings me to, they went, from place to place, and if they went to this place, every hour was 7 years, so I was thinking, okay, when they leave, how long are they going to really be gone? So when they come back, the person they left behind, what's going to happen? That was just oh my gosh, the fact that this could this happen? Are we able to eventually do this? Can we break into the fifth, dimension? It makes you really wonder what's going to happen because we don't know how long Earth is going to be here. So you've got to really think about that and to think that there is a space-time continuum like that matters. What did you think about this whole time difference?
Well, I really wondered about his kids. Like, when you watch the video and his son's talking about his son, you're like, oh my gosh. And then his daughter, and she was like, you said you'd be here back by now. And I just started crying. I was like, you can't just stay there forever. It was so sad. I was so emotional in it just because they captured my emotion in the very beginning.
Well, I guess the one of the best lines I thought Matthew McConaughey said was, there's a chance that when I come back, we might be the same age. And, it makes you wonder about that. What was your thoughts on Anne Hathaway's character as being this macho type scientist that she was trying to be, but on some level I think Christopher Nolan was still trying to capture her as being a woman. At the part where she says, you know, I want to go to this other planet. My boyfriend, this guy that I am in love with, is there. And, you know, Matthew McConaughey is basically saying, look, we can't trust just your heart. We need to focus on science and what's real and what could actually happen. What did you think about Christopher Nolan putting that portrayal to her, like showing women emotion? Because she cried. She was upset.
It almost shocked me because she was just this stern woman in the very beginning. And then she's like, sometimes you just have to follow your heart and trust that.
Right.
And that's not what Matthew McConaughey did. He went against what she wanted, but oh my goodness, I was like almost confused on her character sometimes just because she was like this stern person and then she turned into this really emotional person. Like, she did a complete flip-flop while they were up in space.
Yeah. I was kind of let down by the end. I would say there's at least the last 3 or 4 scenes that I'm going, if it would have just ended here and this would have been the ending, I think I would have been okay with this. But at the ending, I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. This is what we're doing?
I was shocked. And then I was like, well, why did we even show that? Like,
yeah,
they left me questioning what really happened in the end, where if they would have ended it just a little bit sooner, I would have been completely happy and good with the movie.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, it was a great movie. There was a great, like, feeling of family and, you know, doing what's right for everybody else. And there was great graphics, there was great directing, there was great scenes. It was a great movie, but there was times in lines that people were having conversations that you're just going, why are you talking about this? Why is this going this way? So I felt that it was somehow, I don't know, just kind of throwing it out there as he's talking to a group of people that's going to invest in this movie, that he's like coming up with an idea. Oh, and yeah, maybe we're going to end it this way, just off the top of his head. So I felt like it was very scattered. Like he was, you know?
It's a movie I plan on going and buying when it comes out on DVD, but it's still, the ending was like, what just happened?
Yeah. So it's good. I really enjoyed it, but I think because I do intensely look at movies, that I see things that the normal person, I guess, wouldn't analyze. So, I don't know. It was good. It definitely was good. So,
it's a movie you should go watch.
Yeah. So, I'd like to say thanks to Haley for joining me. I'll be right back.
Hi, welcome to High Horse University. You're a communications major, right? Here at High Horse U, you're just a number to us because you're making us loads of money. You'll also have to sell your kidney to pay for tuition. Sign on the dotted line, please.
That's what happened.
Come with me. This is Cameron University's Communication Department. We care about quality education, not robbing you blind. Here, you'll actually get to know your professors and classmates. You won't be needing this anymore.
Visit Cameron.edu for more info.
Dear Aggie, I feel my teacher is treating me unfairly. Any advice on what I should do?
Dear Aggie, I'm getting burnt out this semester. How can I avoid going nuts?
Dear Aggie, any advice on how to avoid getting sick this flu season? Dear Aggie.
The Cameron Collegian presents Dear Aggie, our new weekly advice column featured in the Student Life section. Submit your anonymous questions about issues involving school, family, relationships, or anything else on AggieCentral.com. Just click on the Dear Aggie tab for more information.
Starplex Cinema, where I catch my movies, released Dumb and Dumber 2 and Foxcatcher. They also have the $5 tickets on movies before 6 and just $2 more for 3D movies. That's all for this episode of Film Geek. As always, you can find me at Starplex Cinema, or I'll be catching what's new at the box office. Until next time, Maggies.